Hey there, it's time for a PNN pop-up, and it's May 4th, 2025. It's later on Sunday. Please check out Church of Spirituality from today. The sermon I think you'd find exceedingly inspiring, if I may say so myself. I thank you guides. My guides channel their messages through me. Can't take all the credit. I think these pop-ups are going to be a regular thing. They have been. Apparently, I do what I'm told by Spirit. So I feel that these videos can help us to gain some clarity. We have a lot of questions. If we didn't have so many questions, I probably wouldn't do this every day. But there's just too much for the mind to take in, so we'll take a few things at a time each day. I haven't decided yet, but I may cut back on the live streams. Been having a lot of trouble with my Wi-Fi, and I'm getting actually more views from the pre-recorded videos, because I think a lot of people that are new maybe don't understand that we just kind of joke around and it's kind of like a party. So I mean, that's fine. I'll still do them, but I might cut back in the summer months to twice a week for the live streams. I will keep you posted. I wouldn't do something suddenly without giving you fair warning. I actually wrote down some things to go over. Governor Mills in Maine won against Donald Trump, who was bullying her and threatening her with taking away her funding for schools in Maine if she didn't agree to his ban on trans people in Maine. And I mean, I guess there's a total of 2 in the entire state of Maine who play sports in school. It's probably all just made up anyway. There have been quite a few wins. So actually, I think I'll start with this. I think I'll start with using the pendulum to look at whether here's the one. Okay, we'll look at the. We'll use this pendulum to look at. Are we winning more than he is in court? All the courts. Is democracy winning more than the fascist in the courts? Okay, so it's kind of like inconclusive at the moment. So let's ask a different question. What percentage of the lawsuits that Dumpy is filing has he won, or winning positions? 10%, 20. We're like at 15, 20% of the lawsuits. He sues everybody for everything he can make up in his head. So that is about 15 to 20%. He's winning in court. That leaves 80 to 85% where he's not winning in the courts. Okay, so the courts seem to be holding the line, and that's really, really, really important, because the reason that we have a democracy is that we have a constitution. We'll look at SCOTUS in a minute. But the reason that we have a democracy is because we have laws. And we have a strong system of upholding the law. So I know that judges are under threat, and it's horrible. But when you really look at the fact that the enemy, the Kremlin, got in, you can understand why citizens of the United States who are under cult mind control, they're being fed all this heinous stuff from the Kremlin. And people that are way off balance and already are predisposed to violence, they're issuing these death threats. So let's ask this, to federal judges, to all judges really. So they're in a tight spot. But most of them are really holding the line. Will we see a lessening of death threats to judges within the next month? Will there be less death threats to judges within? Pendulum's kind of going around. So that's not a yes or a no. That's ask the question a different way. Are the federal judges that are on the largest cases against this administration, are they all under death threats? Okay, the largest cases against this fascist regime, all those federal judges are having to endure a lot of death threats. It's a very strong yes. A lot of death threats. Remember, it's the Kremlin. On a scale of 1 to 10, how successful is this authoritarian coup attempted in progress? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how successful is it at this point, the authoritarian attempted coup? 1, 2, 3. We're at about a 3. And 10 being most very, very successful. Very strong 3. Okay, so I want you to notice a pattern here. Is that we have the upper hand. And I think it's critically important for us to know that. And I want to just encourage everybody to only read and watch what inspires you if you're feeling too weak to tolerate anything else. Because there's a particular slant to what you read or what you listen to. Some people have a real hopeful slant and positive slant and can do, and some have, oh no, we're doomed, and we can't afford that. So let's be the people that, I know there's not tons of us, but let's be the people that we hold the line energetically. Jessica Craven, Chop Wood, Carry Water. Sign up for her newsletter. It's really good. Anything from Indivisible, looking at the rallies from May Day, and all the other rallies, and how they're growing, and this movement, and how there's a huge rally in Washington D.C. with veterans and people that are in the military on June 6th. So don't be reading about this military parade that he wants to have on his birthday. Don't read that. Just don't. Since I mentioned it, with the way the energy is right now, will there be a dumpy military parade on June 14th? That's also up in the air. When I see up in the air and we have a direction that we would like to go, I see that as an opportunity that we can. So right now, there's a lot in play. Okay, so I have a question, and it's, will the gaslighting that's really made this country insane, where people are being told, oh, the economy's great, and they have lost thousands upon thousands of dollars in their investments, in their portfolio. Will the gaslighting stop working when the rubber hits the road, kind of? I guess these are all kind of pendulum questions, right? Will the gaslighting stop working in the near future? I have a yes on that. That's a pretty strong yes. In other words, if somebody's an avid watcher of faux news, very strong yes on that. And Maria Bartiromo is over there, and the loser, Jesse Waters, who's so vile. What a horrible person. When they're the economy's great, oh, the job numbers are up, you know how they get. And there are people that watch faux news that believe that it's real news, are sitting there and they lost their job because of the loser. And Maria Bartiromo is there going, oh, everything's great. The job numbers are up and the economy's doing great. Okay. That has a shelf life. And reportedly, the shelves are starting to be empty. We're going into a time that's going to feel like COVID when it first started. So the gaslighting is not going to work anymore. So then what will lead? Now here's time for the cards. Then what will people do? What will people do that have been gaslit? I'm just going to ask that simple question in general. I think this video is going to be about a half an hour because I can't fit everything in that I want to ask in 12 minutes. What will people do when they realize they've been had? There was when I was growing up in Boston, there was a radio station called WBCN. If anybody here is from this area, you might remember. And they used to punk people over the phone in their call-in show, and then they'd go, "You've been hosed." So, made me think of that. How is it going to work for the Queen of Wands? All right, listen to me, people. Kamala Harris keeps popping up, and she's popping up lately as the Queen of Wands. Sometimes she pops up as the Queen of Swords, which is the women who's speaking truth. The Nine of Cups, the faux news is going to just keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on, keep lying, keep pouring on the lies. It's like a waterfall of lies. That's energetically, that's what it feels like. Four of Wands indicates that people are going to start to they're going to start looking at the damage to their families of this fascist regime. And I feel like the more positive message that they'll be looking for, I know I can just feel the naysayers out there right now. I'm telling you, when it comes to people's survival, when it comes to people's grocery bills, a beautiful word, groceries. He's such an idiot. When it comes to the price of things you need to survive, even the people that have been hypnotized and mind controlled by faux news are going to be looking for a message, a better message. But Fox is going to still pour it on, but people will be seeking a different story because they're running out of money. They got to feed their families. And that even goes for the grandparents that watch faux news, because they want to take their grandkids, or most of them call their grandkids their grandbabies. That's kind of a southern thing, and a Midwest thing. I never heard that growing up. It's grandchildren. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like grandbaby. It's just different. Anyway, when they can't do those things anymore, they're going to be looking for a different message. And that's when Kamala Harris is going to be out there with a different message. And I don't know if this is going to change. And we'll ask this. A while back, and a lot of you will remember this, I played the NAACP little speech that Kamala gave a month or so ago. And for the first time ever, I got a copyright strike in red ink. And they took my whole video down. And that's the harshest that YouTube has ever been with me. And I noticed that when Kamala speaks, it doesn't really get covered. So we're going to look at whether that's going to change. Because I think when people are desperately looking for a more positive message, they're going to be hearing bits and pieces of what she said. And I know that people will fight me on, they'll never, stop loving Trump. I beg to differ. I really do. And I think that when things start to get really touchy, that there will be a lot of openings and you got to do it gently, but there'll be a lot of openings for people to talk about, you know what, maybe he did lie. Maybe Dumpy did lie to you. Maybe don't call him Dumpy to the Trumpsters, but But I really do believe that when people get desperate that have supported him, they will be dying to hear a Kamala message, and it will get out there, because when things go viral, it's hard to stop them. So I'm going to pull 3 cards on that specifically. When things start to really go downhill. There's a sword of truth. There's justice. When people are feeling so much pain they can't even sleep at night. Yes, that's affirmative, that people will be looking for Kamala's message. If it continues to get hidden, they will find it anyway. And this is a justice card, and this is a sword of truth. I feel like I'm having a mic drop moment. Yeah. Okay, so how successful will that be? Because you know that Dumpy's doubling down on the heinousness, and he's also very mentally unstable. So let's ask this: do we have safeguards? Are there safeguards in place? I just had my pendulum, it just disappeared. Are there safeguards in place to prevent us from being attacked? That's a yes. Okay, well that's reassuring. Let's read on Hegseth, and then we'll go to Dumpy's health. Let's read these cards. Oh no, we'll read the nefarious cards. We're gonna read on Pete Hegseth. Thank you for joining my channel, subscribing, and being here, and to all my members. I'm gonna start a new class tomorrow, so I'll alert you to that. But I'll be recording this class, and you can watch the videos whenever you want. This is my book. It's available on Amazon. You have to type in the whole title. The 7-Day Key to Living Inspiration and Empowerment. You can just type in that, and then my name. And it will come up. It's around $9.95, I think. But that's what the class for members will be. It'll just be set to members only. You can watch it at your convenience. Okay, so we're gonna read on Pete Hegseth. I'm actually feeling comforted that I read that there are safeguards in place in case an attack comes, because our national security right now is like Swiss cheese, and we're sitting ducks. Hegseth. There's a part of me, I have to say, there's a part of me that it kind of feels like this is all fake. I'm gonna do a deep dive down the rabbit hole at some point, because there's a part of me that feels like this is all fake. It's really strange. Hegseth. What's gonna happen is, yeah, this is interesting. When I'm reading on Hegseth, I have the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, and the Lovers, which indicates, I have to hide this because it's gruesome. The Lover card and the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. What's going to be revealed about Hegseth is that he is really just taking orders. He's taken direct orders from the enemy. Witkoff comes to mind. And that's what's going to be found out. Will it be found out this week? I mean, I'm talking about he's taking orders from the Kremlin. And I see a female involved in that too. Let's ask this. Is the female in Congress? No. Is the female at the Kremlin? Yes. Is the King of Cups here, is that Witkoff? No. Is it Lavrov? No. Is it Putin? It's Putin. Putin and a female cohort at the Kremlin. Pete Hegseth is, it's found out, it's revealed. I think they already know. Okay, now let's ask this. Will Hegseth make it through this week? No. I'm not picking up that he'll make it. Because what's his face? Mike Waltz just got hammered. No, that's Hegseth that gets hammered. He just got ousted this past week. Everybody take a deep breath. We got to take lots of deep breaths lately. We have to learn how to keep ourselves centered. Just know that the demonic needs to taunt you. And when Dumpy taunts us, that's to get us like... And we have, righteous anger, which is good. Just do something with it. Just use it to mobilize. Use it to activate. Do something with it. Go call your representative and yell at him. Get him impeached and removed. And just do something with it. That's what I want to say, because it's really horrible. So now I'm going to look at Dumpy's health. How's his health? Really, really, really bad. At Church of Spirituality, I read something that was pertaining to how somebody is in life. It shows in their appearance. And I was just thinking about Dumpy. There's the Emperor, and I'm asking about his health. The Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups, you're going to hear more and more and more of the liars lying about his health. We have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups. They're guarding the information. And there he is. So we just suffice it to say, we're not going to hear about his health problems. They're just going to continue to be glaringly obvious. So let's ask this. Will he have a health episode that's just too glaringly obvious to hide? No, they'll hide it. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, if he just unalives because of his health, will we know then? Will we know then if that happens? Yes. I said if. I didn't say it was going to happen. They wouldn't be able to hide that. Okay. Now, I'm going to switch decks, and I'm going to read on this whole, oh my gosh, posting an AI image of him in the Pope's, I guess you would call it a habit. That's what you call what nuns wear. The robes, the cloaks, the Pope's cloak. Just when you think he can't go any lower, it's like he's got no... It is. It's like the demonic trying to get to us. All right. Now that I'm saying that, I just want you to know. Now, this is really interesting because it just hit me like a ton of bricks. If you know anything, and I know I'm bringing it up a lot, but there's a reason for that. If you know anything about the dark side, if you want to know more, you can read the books by Ed and Lorraine Warren, who wrote a book called The Demonologist, but it's not for the faint of heart, the demonologists. Their fame came from investigating the Amityville house. Whatever you might think of that story, they had done many home exorcisms. And I learned a lot from that book, and it was at the very beginning of my starting to do this kind of work many years ago. And what I'm just remembering that just hit me like a ton of bricks is that the demonic really hates Catholicism, and it really hates the rosary and holy water and any like priest or cardinal or bishop or pope, and the way that they show their hatred to Catholicism, because Catholicism for some reason that's the only type of religion that's able to really effectively do exorcisms. And so the fact that he made a mockery of the Pope of the Catholic Church, to me, it's evidence. I'm kind of speechless. We're going to pull 3 cards about that. Because all of a sudden it's crystal clear what we're dealing with here. All of a sudden it's like, oh my God. And I'm pulling 3 cards about the aftermath, the fallout from that. Now, the other thing that's coming to me is I think that the bishops and the cardinals are thinking the same thing. I think this is going to be the last question because I had other questions to ask, but I think I don't want to make this too long. And that's like a mic drop moment too. The effect of this on the population, Prince of Swords, Prince of Pentacles, I think he's lost the backing of the Catholic priests. He had the support of a lot of Catholics because he claims that he's against abortion. And we'll read on the Pope and the conclave and all that. The next Pope, who it's going to be. We'll do that maybe tomorrow. So the question is, how is this going to affect him, Dumpy? There's something called stolen valor that Dumpy is really kind of, I don't know, he takes the cake on that. But the Prince of Swords and the Prince of Pentacles tells me he has lost the support of the Catholic Church and the Vatican if he ever remotely had it. He might have remotely had it just because he claimed, now the guys are saying, no, he never had the support of the Vatican in any way, manner, shape, or form. But he did fool a lot of Catholics into thinking he was so, on the right side of things because of his stance on abortion, which was all fabricated anyway, because he probably, I won't even go there. So we know what we're dealing with, and we really have to right now, just speaking of Catholicism and what I know since I was brought up Catholic, and I kind of followed the apparitions, the stories of the apparitions at Medjugorje and at Lourdes and Fatima. And in all of those stories that I really do believe are true. The Blessed Mother begged and pleaded with us to pray, and to pray all the time. So if that's your background, definitely do that because it's so important. I just realized how there's no denying what we're dealing with him making a mockery of the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church is that's the only ritual, that Catholic ritual of exorcism that's effective at casting out demons. Anyway, I didn't mean to go there because I had a lot more to read on. But I'll just leave it there and I'll upload this and I'll see you again tomorrow. Please watch Off the Ledge every day to keep you in balance, to keep us all in balance. I get a lot out of reading Ernest Holmes' book every day. I wanted to do that at the start of the year, the 365 an inspiring message daily, and the astrology report from Kathy Beale. She's so wonderful to provide that for us, and the little reading that I do. So that's Off the Ledge, and I'm doing pop-ups every day now. Not usually this long, but they might start being longer. And right now we're doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays PNN live stream, but I may be cutting back on those. I'll keep you posted. Please watch Church of Spirituality from today and the other Sundays. And there's meditations, guided meditations on Thursday nights under the lives too. And those are really powerful. Okay, that's all I want to say for now. Book a session, psychic@dion.com, and I'll see you real soon. Take care. Keep your vibration up. We're dealing with some real evil. Namaste.